Air fried sausage balls in the Instant Pot Duo Crisp and the Ninja Foodi Deluxe. And simple air fried sausage balls, because we've got a recipe that we've used here for years that has 3 ingredients, and that is Bisquick, sausage, and cheddar cheese. We've never had a complaint. It is an excellent recipe that's really simple, and I'm about to show you that. Now, we're going to do it a little different this time. I mean, we're going to do what I always do. I'm just going to add something to it because the air frying part is a little new to me. And we're going to freeze some. I'm going to make them up tonight. We're going to refrigerate half of them or so, because that's what I normally do. I'll make them up the night before, and then I cook them the next day. Well, we're going to refrigerate half of them and freeze the other half and see how they come out in the air fryers. Now, we're also going to, I'm not going to say I'm going to review this product, but we're going to use it, so I guess I am. And it's the Breville all-in-one. I've had it a while and been looking for a reason to use it. Well, this is it. And it'll shred cheese. So that's really all we're going to be doing with it today. But, I mean, there it sits. It's a nice looking unit, and I'm anxious to use it. It's got a lot of attachments that I think will work great for a lot of recipes, but that's really not what it's about. Tonight, it's about sausage balls. Whether refrigerating them or freezing them work okay in the air fryer. So, again, 3 ingredients. There they are. My wife's or baby doll's recipe right here. I'm John Sanders, also known as Jelly 007. Let's air fry some sausage balls. All right, here you go to start with. Here is the recipe. And now I'm doubling this because I'm making it a little extra. 1 pound of sausage, 1 10-ounce package of sharp cheddar cheese, 3 cups of Bisquick. And then it has, for what we've done, let's cook it 350 degrees in an oven for 15 to 20 minutes. Well, tonight we're going to do, like I said, we're doubling it. So I'm going to use 1 hot of Jimmy Dean and 1 regular of Jimmy Dean. It calls for 20 ounces of sharp cheddar cheese. I'm going to use extra sharp. And the reason I'm telling you this is because a lot of this will be done in just a minute. Now, I am going to bring you back and show you how this does when I shred this cheese. But I'm using extra sharp. These are 8-ounce packages, so I'm getting a little extra cheese. I'm going to go 24 ounces instead of what it calls for, 20. And we're not going to be doing any cooking tonight, so I got these slid back. All we're doing tonight is getting them ready to go in the refrigerator and the freezer. So I'm going to get a little bit of this done. I'm going to get this set out. I'm going to get this ready to shred where I can at least show you one block and how it acts, just because, hey, it's neat. I'll show you the box right quick, the artwork on it. It's a blend mash processing station with control grip, and you can kind of get an idea for how it works right here. Okay, here we go, about to test the Breville all-in-one. And I've got the blade on the thick cut. I'm going to do 1 block in thick and 2 blocks in thin. No good reason, it's just the way I'm going to do it. So if you stick around at the end of the video, after I kind of tell everybody bye, I'm going to put in a little bit of where I didn't use them all, but I kind of show you all the attachments and a little bit about how they work. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, or didn't mention, was that it also does this. It has you can, put smaller items in, no big deal, just wanted to mention it. But here we go. I'm going to set this, I'm just going to set it midway. I don't know that it even matters, but we're about to start with this one right here, and this is probably the one I'm going to do on video, but and that certainly seemed to work. In fact, that worked excellent. So I'm going to get that out of there. I'm going to flip the blade over and do the other 2, and you can see about, we'll pull this off. You can see about how thick that is, or I'll show you in a minute, but well, I can show you right now. There's what a thick grind does, and a little bit of it got on top right here, but I'm not worried about that. It'll get in there before it's over with. So like I said, I'm going to flip the blade over, do those other 2. I'll be right back. Here is the 2 pounds of sausage. So that is 1 pack of hot and 1 pack of regular, and that's just what we do here a lot of times. And so I'm about to put the cheese on top of that, this cheese right here, and I'm going to grind the other 2 Here is the 6 cups. I had to change containers because I needed 6 cups. There's a 6 cup of a Bisquick. All right, there is the cheese and the sausage I showed you in there a while ago. And here is the 6 cups of Bisquick, and we're going to just kind of do what got to be done, which is put a little bit in there. I'm going to mix it up. I'm even using gloves because I'm going to get all in it because we got to make that be completely mixed. And I'll probably make a little bit of a mess. I'm going to get my sheet pans out. Oops. And I'm going to spray them with a little bit of, I'm going to use avocado oil just to keep things from sticking and, just because I think that's a good idea. And we're going to get them in the refrigerator and the freezer. So I'll be back. Okay, there they are, every bit of it. That was 2 pounds, the 6 cups, and 20 ounces or so of cheese. Now, I will admit, those are a little large, but it's kind of intentional. They're a lot larger than what Baby Doll, my wife, makes. But I'm going to be using the Thermopen. And I may change temps tomorrow to try to get, I like them large because I like something to bite and dip in some yellow mustard. This is probably more like the last one I made. It's probably similar to what she makes. That might be, that's right at what she makes. But what I'm getting at is, there is all you get out of it. So I think that's a 12 by 18. In fact, to tell you for sure, that sheet pan is 12 by 17. 12 by 17 sheet pan, and everything that you saw is there. So I'm about to divide these up, and I'm going to space them out because these are going in the refrigerator. I'll cover them with saran wrap, and I'll space them out where they can cool evenly, and mainly not the refrigerated ones, but the freezer ones. You have to have them, you want them to freeze individual. And that way you can put them in a bag, and that's really what this is about. So I can make up, I don't know, 10 bag, 20 to a bag, and then bring them out of the freezer and cook them 20 at a time or so. I'm just making up numbers, but you got to have them not stuck together, obviously, and you want them to be frozen. So I'll put them, something similar to, say, this right here, whatever it takes to get them spaced out reasonable, if you can even see what I'm doing, and you can. And then I'll lay that in the freezer, and these will go in the refrigerator. Again, now these are large, so I may run into issues tomorrow with that, but again, it's not about times and all. I may cook them at a little lower temp because I'm going to be using my Thermopen to make sure I'm at safe levels. So I'm going to get that done, get these in the freezer and get those in the refrigerator, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a good night. I went upstairs and got the author of this recipe, Baby Doll, and I wanted her to see what my version looked like of her recipe, and quite honestly, she's already saw it, and she looked a little surprised, but I'll let her say what she thinks.
They're a little big.
She thinks they're a little bigger than they need to be, and they are a lot bigger. They're at least twice what she normally does, which I would say that.
Yeah.
That maybe half the size of that. So I'm a little concerned, not with how they'll taste. I mean, I'm going to use a Thermopen. I'm going to get them to the temperature that they're safe to eat. I'm just a little bit worried about how they're going to cook. I'm not sure they're going to cook that size because this might be the biggest we've ever cooked. But anyhow, this is her. She usually does it. I'm doing it that. But we usually do it in the oven. This is the first time we're doing this. And I'm doing the frozen ones, which I don't have out here yet. But we're going to do these are just refrigerated. I'm going to do the refrigerated first, maybe 6 at a time in each one of them. Then we're going to see how well a frozen version does. And I think that'll be real neat because we've never done that. And be able to put them in a Ziploc bag and pull them out for a month or two as you need them.
I'm anxious to see.
Now I am too. And I mean...
So you're going to put them in both?
Yeah, I'm going to cook 6 in this one maybe and 6 in that one and then freeze the rest. When all these will be frozen. What I don't cook tonight, I'm going to freeze and we'll use during ball games. And well, like she said, it's usually holidays a lot of times, but we do ball games too. So
favorite.
Anyhow, I just wanted to get Baby Doll's opinion on mine. She did this when she saw it. She said, my gosh. So anyhow, we're going to see how they do, and maybe they'll be fine, but I'll be right back with them either way. All right, well, we're going to get started on my colossal sausage balls, which be honest with you, I really don't think they're going to be that bad. I'm expecting good results Whether I get them or not, I don't know. But the only thing I regret so far is not getting her face when I uncovered them for the first time. I wish I had videoed that, but I didn't. But she couldn't. She was really shocked. I'm going to spray this basket. I'm sure you don't have to, but I'm going to with avocado oil. Both of them. I've got the air fry baskets in both of these, and I'm going to spray them both. And then I'm going to put 5 or 6 in the bottom of each. I'm going to, if you saw on the recipe, or if you see right here, if you can, not sure you can, but if you remember it, it's 350 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. Well, the 15 to 20 minutes doesn't matter because I'm going to be checking them. But if you've heard my equation to what you need to do on an oven recipe to an air fryer recipe is around 15%. And I don't always go by them exact numbers. I just hit close. So I'm going to take it from 350 to 300. I'm not concerned with it not getting done again, and I'm not in a hurry. You know, maybe 350 might be better, but we're going to do these at 300. We're going to do the first batch at 300. If I have problems, we'll do another batch. But anyhow, I'm going to get these preheated, and we're going to get them sprayed. And when I come back, we'll be ready to drop those in. Okay, so I've let them both preheat for about 10 minutes, and I sprayed the basket. I moved the recipe where you can see it. I realized when I was talking about it a while ago, you could not see it, and in case you haven't written it down, I'm going to show it one more time, but it's real simple. And there's where I got the 350 from, but that's for a conventional oven. And that's why I removed my, and I make that, I don't know if there's a better number than that, but I say 15%. And I don't recall ever seeing it written down anywhere. But, and Baby Dog, she pointed out, I said, I'm not the author of that. I just wrote it down. Well, anyhow, I said, well, as far as I'm concerned, you're the author, but I don't know who wrote the recipe by any, not trying to claim it. And she's a little stuffy-headed, so she went upstairs. So we're about to put whatever I can reasonably get in these baskets. I'm going to start with a Ninja Foodi. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to keep them all about the same size. 5, 6. And I got room for 7. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put the 7th one in there. I'm going to go ahead and close that one. I'm going to set this one back to 1 hour just so I can track the time if I wasn't going in the wrong direction. No way am I going to leave them in there an hour, but that way it gives me a method to track the time. But all right, I got my tray out to set that on because that's what you're supposed to do. These have already been in for a minute, so we're going to lift this off and put that there. And one day I'm going to put a thermometer under there. You can set it on. I didn't want to set it on that plastic or that whatever this is right here, this board. But be honest with you, I don't even know if it hurt it. The temp's not that bad, and one day I'll try and show that. But you're supposed to set it on that, so that's what I'm doing. So I've got them in there. We got 7 in there, so we're going to do 7 in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Slide them out just a little bit and try and find one about the same size. And 7. And all I've got them in there is just in a circle and then 1 in the middle. I'm going to show you right quick so you'll know what I mean. That's what they look like in both of them. I have them both set identical. I'm going to put the lid back on. And this one beeps the whole time you got the lid off. It kind of makes you edgy. But we're back up and running. Oh, I need to set that one to an hour so I can keep up with how long it's been in. Same way I did the Ninja. And I tell you what, we'll set a timer. Well, we don't need it. I've got 3 minutes on this one or so, and we're just starting that one. So we're going to keep an eye on them with Thermopen, and I'll be right back. All right, in case you see that, the minute I put that on, it had been preheating so long, it thought I needed to turn the food. But if you give it 10 seconds, that turned food goes away. So I wanted to explain that in case you saw it. Okay, we're pretty close to the 15-minute mark. I'm going to take some readings and see if we need to flip them. In fact, I'll let y'all see them the same time I do. And they don't look bad. In fact, they look pretty good. Now, whether they need flipping or not, that's a different story. But let's see if what the temps look like. Well, we got, I don't know if you're going to be able to see them from my arm, but there's 203. I'm going to go to this middle one right here. 199, 200, 205. We are plenty good. We need to be 165 as far as the sausage is done. And I've seen people call for 165 internals. But quite honestly, if you ask me, it's a dough too, or it's bread. So I'm good with that temp. I'm gonna set one out and get a little better reading. I'm gonna set it right here. I'm gonna leave the lid open. I'll move the camera and we're gonna look at one I have not checked right quick where I can see it a little better. And let's just see what we get. 190 something, 200, well that's at the bottom, but the coolest temp I can get is 195. We're done. I'm gonna call those done. We're gonna set them out and see how these do. And then I probably need to be checking the ones in the Instant Pot. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna let it go to 15 minutes also. And they did try and stick just a little bit. I think they tried to get down in that groove, but not really. One of them did. So let's see. I mean, they look pretty good. I mean, I'm good with them. I'm gonna move all these to this side where we can keep up with which ones are which. To say something stuck, I shouldn't have said it. One of them did. There's what stuck to the bottom, just a little bitty piece. We're like a minute away, so I'm fixing to open that one up and check the temp on it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. And when that clicks over to 45, I'm just gonna let y'all stay here with me. We're gonna check that one. And it should be really soon. In fact, we're probably close enough. It's not that big a deal. So, I thought it would have done it by now. We gotta be close enough to check. So we're going to right now. Let's see what I get right here on this center one. And I got 190 all the way to 182. And quite honestly, that's probably good. I'm gonna check another one. 182 to, I'm calling them good. I mean, the pork is done at 165, and that's not stuck. It's not a big deal with sticking. Just something I try to note everything that's happening when I'm doing it, so I'll know what to do next time. This being the first time. Now this one right here tried to stick. I think they're going down in that basket a little bit, but you can see I didn't destroy it or anything. We just got to keep those separated from that. We're gonna let them rest a minute. In fact, I'll take a temp reading right there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. If I need to turn it back on, I can. You see, I broke that one a little bit, and a couple of these, but nothing drastic. I'm trying to get one that's not been. So 195 and 200. Those are done. So let them rest a minute. We're gonna get out some yellow mustard and see how they are. I'll be back. Okay, let's cut one in half, or one or two of them, and just see how they look, my big colossals. And you see what I mean? This is what I like. I like to have something with more than just a little finger food. I mean, I'm usually putting them out of ball games. That's what I'm gonna do. And the wife cooks them for holidays, and like a lot of people do. We're gonna cut that one, and you can see it looks really good. And we saw the temps. So we're gonna cut it in half, and it looks just like a sausage ball. Now, I'll say all of these work great. I mean, every one of them, but my favorite, that right there, what everybody's got in their refrigerator, is that right there. And like I said, 200 degrees. And I was afraid it was gonna look dried out internal, but as you can see, it don't. That looks as perfect as I know how to get them. And it is. So we'll cut one of these, that one right there. And again, they look fine. And dropped it to 300 degrees, and it was done in, I think it was 15 minutes on both of them. So, and there you go. I'm not going to try and bite into this one, but I will. I mean, it looks excellent, and I'm sure it is. Now that mustard right here is good. This stuff right here is excellent on it. Even this, every mustard's a little bit different. I do like just regular Frenchies on it because that's what I normally eat, but it's actually a little different flavor on all of them. And that is an excellent sausage ball. Now, a little bigger than you might have seen, but I'm going to tell you, you set that down in front of some people watching a football game, and they'll be gone. So now what we got to do is see how well the frozen ones do. So I'm going to get these bagged up for tomorrow, and I'm probably going to finish eating these. And we're going to do the big test, what I really want to know. How well one comes from frozen, something we've never done. So I am looking forward to that because it'll be real neat to make them up a month or two ahead of time and then cook them the day of. But I'll get that set up and I'll be right back. All right, for phase 2 of our test, and the most important, if you ask me, because it's something we've never been able to do, and that is to make ahead and freeze sausage balls. And when you can do that and keep them for a couple of months in the freezer and pull them out and use them as you need them for gatherings, that's going to be a thing we use a lot. Now, I went ahead and washed them all again because I want it back to pretty much starting, the temperature and all. They're probably still a little warm from the last cook, but I washed them. They've been complete. I got to spray them with the avocado oil again, wherever it is, right here. I'm going to do the same identical thing. We went 15 minutes a while ago and had roughly at 190 on these. So at around 15 minutes, I'm going to take a temp. So all I want to do, I'm going to get these preheated to 300 degrees and let them go for about 10 minutes. Then we're going to start putting them in to see how they do. I'll be right back. All right, both of them have preheated for roughly 10 minutes. So we're about to set in the same situation, which is 7 in each one at 300 degrees and see how they do from frozen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Position them out about right. Set this one back to 1 hour. I go the wrong way every time. That way we can keep up with that one. Same thing right here. Move that out just a little bit. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I turned that one the way I didn't want it. I like to set them on the flat surface they were on, and I think that kind of helps, I don't know, the looks, if anything. So there we go. That's back up and running. We're going to set the time to 1 hour, and we're off and running on both of them. So we're about to find out if you can do this. We'll be back in a minute. Start checking temps. Okay, I really don't know what to expect right here, but we're about to take a temperature at 15 minutes. And they look okay. Let's see how they temp. Well, I saw one, here's probably right there, 150, 157. I think I saw a 140 something too. So we're gonna go at least 5 more minutes and check it again. Okay, we're about to check it again. Now I'm just trusting the Instant Pot is following suit. It's about 1.5 minutes behind the Ninja as far as time, but I haven't even opened it. But we're about to open this one and take another look. I'm gonna let you see what they look like at the same time. Hopefully you can tell what that is right there. They look good. Now let's see what we get on that back one right there. 170 at the bottom. I got 200, but right here at the top, 190, 195. You know what? I'm gonna make all those. I may call those. Oh, there's 185. All right, I'm gonna call it 3 more minutes. 2.5 more minutes, and we're gonna cut it off and pull the Instant Pots at the same time. I mean, let it catch up to whatever time. Once I get these out, I'll check temps on the Instant Pot, in other words. So I'll be right back. All right, there it is, another 2.5 minutes. We're pulling them out. I'm not even gonna temp them. I know very well they are done. And by the way, well, so far, none have been stuck. I don't know if that's got anything to do with them coming from frozen or not. But I'm gonna show you all sides of them, but we gotta get the Instant Pots out also. So that one right there was, I ain't gonna say stuck, but it was kind of, I had to pull it a little bit from the bottom. I'm gonna close that, turn it off, and we'll look at those right quick. And they look, I'll say they look a little different at this point, but I mean, they gotta sit a little while, they gotta rest, but they look fine. You know what else we're gonna do? This right here. I've been saying I was going to, so I'm going to. This is my meter. If you've watched my videos before, you know what that is, and there is the temperature of it. I've removed that base to set this on, and this is why I don't worry about setting it on my countertop. You'll see how hot it's gonna get, because it's not as bad as you think. And that thing is sitting underneath, right in the center, and you got both ends, the ambience reading and the tip. So you can see about how hot it's going to get. But again, it's really not what this is about. But because I could, I did. And it's because I'm not even suggesting you should do it. It's just that a lot of times I feel obligated to have that thing sitting there when I know I don't need it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna let you see how high that goes. It's at 84 degrees, and I'll show you. Make sure you can see what I'm talking about. I'm gonna angle that a little bit. But you can see, since we're doing these, those look fantastic, there's no doubt. But I did want to show this. That's right in the center. That's what's reading that number right there. And that's how hot that surface is. It's 84 degrees. I mean, sometimes my house is, you know, not much more. But anyhow, I'm going to let those right there cool down. And I'll give this a minute, see how high it's going to climb. I've got a chart we can go by. But right there, they look excellent. They really do. I think I can even pick one up. There's the Instant Pots, which I don't know whether that matters or not, you know, which one it is, because they were identical. Everything I've cooked in both these devices have been, I'll just say, identical. I have not run across anything that wasn't. But the fact, if this works out like it looks like it is, the fact that I'm going to be able to take some from my freezer, these right here, and keep them in there for 2 months and pull out 10, 15 at a time, that's a meal, especially the way I make them, you know what I mean? Them big, colossal ones. So I'll be back when that cools down a little bit, when those rest just a little while. All right, this is after they set for probably 3 or 4 minutes, just to give you an idea. And these are the Instant Pots. And there, at 185 at the bottom, coming all the way back to, you know, 180. I mean, you could serve those now. They're still a little hot if you ask me. And I think they need to rest a little longer than 3 minutes. I just wanted to show you. So this one's from right around 190. And it's also 180. Again, they're identical, man. They are identical in the way they cook. Everything I've done in them has been. So, I mean, like the coolest I can find right near the top is around 180. Same thing here. And I'm kind of overdoing this a little bit. Well, there's 170, but it's still, and that was 190, so it's dropped that far. And then if you go all the way to the bottom, my point is, it's plenty safe to eat from frozen. And that's what, you know, I think is a big, big deal. That'll get done at this house a lot. Now, I'm gonna let them rest a little bit longer before I cut one open because they're too hot to eat for one, but I want them to rest and we're gonna cut one open and see how it looks. Be back. All right, I'm gonna touch on the other little test I did on this. You see it's 84 degrees. Well, here's my graph. So in other words, I set this lid down roughly, I don't know, about 15 minutes ago, 10, 15 minutes ago. There's the highs it got, was 89 degrees. 89 degrees is what this surface, and I mean it is not even warm, but that right there laying there, and I hope you can see what I'm doing. I didn't think about that part. I always forget that part. But I'm not saying you shouldn't use, there may be a bunch of reasons I'm not seeing for it, but it has these legs on it, so I'm not trying to push. I'm just saying there'll be times in my videos that I won't have that black disc sitting here because I can put it on this surface, I could put it on this surface. At 84 degrees or 89 degrees, these surfaces will withstand that without a problem. So, all that being said, I just wanted to show that. I've been thinking about it and probably should have put it in another video, so I thought I'd put it in this one. But what we're about to do is I'm going to get a plate out. We're going to cut those in half. I'm going to put some mustard on some and eat them. Be back. All right, it's been about 15, 20 minutes. Let's take a look at, say, the Ninja, which has cooled very well. And just like the other one, which proves to me that from frozen to the plate in about 22 minutes of some really good appetizers that's really handy to have on hand. I mean, you fill that up with some mustard and that and with some mustard and set that right there in front of some guys over here watching football games. They will love it. Here is the Instant Pot. I couldn't remember the name. The Duo Crisp. Same thing. There ain't nothing wrong with that. That will get eaten. In fact, this will probably turn into a very common recipe here. I just feel positive it will. And it already is, kind of, but now that I know how to freeze them, and in 22 and a half minutes, I can bring them from my freezer to there, it's a no-brainer. It's an easy recipe that works excellent in these devices or any air fryer you got. I guarantee you, you might have to adjust times a little bit, but not a lot. Now, if I were making baby dolls, it would be a little bit smaller. And I don't even know if I'd adjust times for it then. You might have to, though, but 15 minutes sounds like a pretty good time for unfrozen and 22 for frozen. And I don't think you'd go wrong. I got a feeling it's fairly forgiving. So, and here's the other big deal to it. I mean, this is stunning. It is 3 ingredients that are easy to keep on hand. You ain't got to keep them on hand. You make them and put them in a freezer, but it's still just sausage, sharp cheddar cheese, and Bisquick. And that is it. And if you look at a lot of other recipes for sausage balls, they're a lot more lengthy than that. So anyhow, hey, I appreciate y'all watching my video. Thanks for stopping by and checking out my brand new from freezer to table 22-minute sausage balls. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Y'all come back to see me. I love y'all all. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and y'all have a good night. Bye-bye. Okay, so if you're here, you decided to hang around for the my description or somewhat review of the Breville all-in-one. And it really looks like a neat device. And you obviously, although I haven't done it yet, you've obviously seen it shred cheese. Now here's the book it comes with. And it's a neat device. I own a Breville smart oven. It's one of the best devices I've ever bought. I mean, it was expensive, but it's worth it. I'm telling you, it's a well-designed machine. Now, here's one thing it gives that I think you might need because it has this. It has a speed selection on top. And not that that's confusing, it's obvious, but it tells you here, it gives some suggestions. Say on carrots, food processor, say if you were using the shredder on fine, you'd want it from 9 to 13, 1 to 2 carrots at a time, depending on size. But you can see they show a lot of other, product or other foods you can put in there. And it even says, you know, ice and stuff like that. But I'm not going to get into all that. I just want to show you what it is and what it has. You saw it all. It was on this base. I've kind of disassembled it and got it ready for what we're going to do with it, what I'm going to do with it in this video, and that is shred the cheese. And one of the things I like about it is maybe this is common, but you can reverse that for a fine or a coarse. And I'm probably going to use both in this video. Here's how the motor, I would say, works. It's just like this. It goes, you know, it runs when you press that button right there. And and like I said, there's your speed selections. You can change that blade out with this one, which slices. And you can see right here, it's adjustable in height. You can adjust the height up and down. Well, it's actually cutting right here, but there's your adjustments. It's got a whisk that you would put on the bottom of this. You just snap it off of here like that. This would go on there, and then that right there. And that's pretty much the way it works on all of the attachments. Here is a stick blender, a very useful device. Obviously, you put that in there for food processing down in the bottom of the bowl. And then this one right here, something I'm looking forward to using. And it's for, I think, strictly, I guess you could use it on a lot of things, but mashed potatoes, because that's what they show right here. And it's almost like a ricer, you know, if you know what a potato ricer is. And I'm looking forward to using that. Let's see, anything else other than, I'll just let you look at this a little bit better. And maybe you can, you know, freeze that frame and you can read the entire description on the back. And again, Breville, to me, makes a good product. You know, nobody's paying me. I paid for this out of my pocket. In fact, I bought it at a I can't remember which store, but one of the ones that does this right here. It retails or compare at $120, and their price was $79.99. Now that to me is worth it if it does what it's supposed to do. So I'm about to end this video again. I'm trying to think of anything else I can say about it. Here's something on top you might want to see. I haven't looked at that close, but I guess that's a little bit of descriptions of the things it does. So anyhow, hey, again, I appreciate y'all watching the video and hanging around for that explanation. So y'all have a good night. See y'all in the next one.